Sarah Schmelzel, 4 under 68. Sarah, the back half of your front 9, talk about that streak.
Yeah, it was really nice to get off to a good start. I made a really good par on 10, and then after that, I just was hitting it to 15, 10 feet, and fortunate enough to make all of them, which doesn't happen very often. So I just tried to really capitalize on the opportunities, and was fortunate enough to do so.
What was your reaction to the golf course early in the week, and did you feel like it kind of fit your eye?
Yeah, we played practice rounds in so much wind, so I think all of us were pretty convinced that it was going to be very, very challenging. So I think with kind of the benign conditions the last couple of days at times, we've been able to score, as you can kind of see with a lot of people making birdies out there. So I think it definitely prepared us to play as hard as it possibly could in the practice rounds, and I'm sure we'll get some of that this weekend.
We're going to open it up to questions. Gary on the right.
The 3-hole stretch on 2, 3, and 4, you hit a great shot out of a divot on 2, made a long putt on 3 to save par, and then hit a good shot from a bad stance in a fairway bunker. Can you talk about that stretch and what it meant to keep the round going?
Yeah, whenever I hit it into a divot, my caddy and I always tell him, I say it's such bad luck to hit it into a divot in the fairway that it has to be good luck. So we wind up making a lot of birdies out of divots, actually. So, just in those situations, I think especially on a week like this, you know that you're going to get some tough breaks, and you're going to have to really fight to make par. And I think I just did a really good job of staying in it and not really caring what it looked like and if it was ugly, and just really tried to get the ball in the hole as fast as I could.
Just as a follow-up, there's some collection areas right of 7 and fairway on 2 where there's a ton of divots. Do you see that becoming a factor and potentially, affecting scoring on the weekend here?
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of balls are collecting down there. I think it's all up to chance. Anything can happen. I definitely think that if you're in a divot down in that any collection area out here, it's going to make the shot quite a bit harder. So if that does happen, yeah, it will affect scoring.
On the left, Art.
Sarah, a lot of times in a major, player will come in playing good, and for whatever reason, they're overlooked by the media or the fans or whatever. Did you see this week coming for yourself, or are you surprised by how it's turned out the first couple of days?
No, I mean, I put myself in this position at Chevron. I did last year at KPMG as well, and I think overall between last year and this year, I've just been playing really solid golf. I've been really process oriented in the last year and a half, and I'm trying to come into golf tournaments not expecting to play well or expecting to play poorly. I'm just really trying to hold myself to a standard of sticking to my process, and it's led to some really solid golf so far this year.
Following up on Chevron, you did play really well there, all the way up to the final day. What did you learn from Chevron that maybe you could apply to this major?
Yeah, I think anytime I've been in contention, you sometimes hit a point where you kind of feel like maybe you're falling back too far. And I think in the past I've maybe let myself feel that way in a round rather than just really, thought, hey, this is closer than I think it is. Anything can happen. So I think I'm just getting better and better at staying more and more present. And I think that's all I'm going to take into the next couple of days, is that every shot, could completely flip around or completely flip a situation. So I think just taking that into the next couple of days.
We're going to go to Sarah on the right.
Sarah, you crushed it today in terms of your short game. When you have those kind of shots, you might miss a green. How do you kind of keep that panic down and really just lock in on what you have to do going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think you come into this week knowing you're going to have to showcase some short game shots, and you're going to have to hit some really good chips, and a good chip might go to 10 feet and you're going to have to make a putt. So I think just you kind of just know this week that you're going to be tested that way. And I think for me, I love being tested that way. I love when we play golf courses where it's a grinder's paradise, and I think I just kind of thrive in that setting where I know that it doesn't matter how ugly it is. I just need to get around and make pars and try and shoot a low score. So I think that just kind of plays into my hand.
Where does your grit and your resiliency come from?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think for some reason I just kind of love maybe a little bit of that underdog mentality. I love just really having to dig it out of the dirt. I mean, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to trying to get better at this game, and I think that can make you a bit of a grinder on the golf course, where you just kind of don't give up and you don't give in. And I kind of pride myself on really trying to stay in it for 18 holes every single day.
Beth Ann on the left.
You guys are on the clock. Yeah, what hole did you get put on the clock, and how did that impact you?
maybe like number 2. We were on the clock from maybe like 2 or 3 for maybe like 4 holes, 5 holes. I mean, I think I've done a really good job in the past couple years of speeding up how I play. And so for the most part, that doesn't really affect me other than knowing you have someone timing your shots, which is never really a fun thing in general. So for me, I don't think it necessarily affected anything. You're just kind of aware of it. So it's a little bit of an added factor onto the round.
It didn't take you out of a flow or anything, having to think about that?
No, I mean, I think it's like it can, in a way, it's like a little bit of a distraction. You just know that someone's standing there timing you. So if you're in a precarious situation, you're like, oh, I maybe can't take the extra few seconds that I don't usually take. But, that's just the name of the game. Like if you fall out of position, you need to be on the clock and you need to catch back up. So it's kind of the consequences of your own actions, I guess. But I don't think it happens at what feels like every week. So it doesn't really throw off the flow. It's just kind of an annoyance.
Jill?
What has the quest to win on this tour been like? The ups and downs of that?
Yeah, I mean, a very rewarding and humbling process. Obviously, I haven't won yet, but when I get into positions where I feel like I have a chance to win, I mean, that's kind of a win in of itself. I really just want to get myself into contention a lot. I mean, you want to give up 1,000 times because it feels like it's never going to happen for you. And I feel like I've gotten to a place where I'm just really confident in my process. I'm really confident in the people around me that are helping me. And that feels like enough of a win for my career on tour. If I add actual wins on top of that, that would be amazing. And I really hope to do that. But getting to that place where I feel content in how I'm going about my career has been very, very rewarding.
Any inspiration in somebody like Mal, whose first win was a major?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, playing in an event as big as Solheim, it kind of makes you hungry for the really, really big moments like a major. And I'm really grateful for that experience and all that I learned from playing in Solheim and playing on a stage like that. And I think that that's really helped me coming into the majors since.
Last question, back right.
Sarah, you mentioned a few times your process. What does that look like for you now?
Yeah, I think I've just gotten a lot better at how I practice. I've really tried to make my practice consequential. So instead of just standing there hitting balls, standing there hitting chips, I really try and put myself under the gun when I'm at home practicing and I'm by myself. And I think that that's prepared me really well for coming out here and knowing I've hit those shots, maybe in a little bit lesser of circumstances, but still in circumstances in my head where I've kind of simulated. And I really lean on my coach, my mental coach, my caddy, my physio, and my trainer. And I think just us staying in our routines that we do week in and week out, it allows you to kind of have less of that like anxiousness when you're out here trying to perform. So for me, it's just really leaning on those people and really sticking with my routines.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. And we are going to have to go back to the media center. We did just blow the horn.
Thank you.